Welcome back to the O Hockey Show, and we are talking more playoff hockey today because, of course, we are. It's the best time of the year except for Christmas. But anyways, we are talking today about the series that is going to kick off the playoffs tomorrow on Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, and that is the Hurricanes versus the New York Islanders. And a real meeting of the minds here. Two teams that kind of have different philosophies, sort of, but somehow still end up in the same place. And I know that might sound really stupid, but stick with me. So, these two teams are actually on paper really similar. And it's kind of crazy because in my eyes, you'd think with the names like Aho, like Natchez, like Svechnikov, like Teravainen, all the names then on defense in Burns, like you would think that the Hurricanes are like a lot more star power teams, but they aren't because they have roughly similar numbers overall in all categories. So let's break it down. So in the season series, Hurricanes winning 3-1 out of them. So Hurricanes looking very good against the Islanders, of course, meaning Isles with only 1-3 as their record going into it. Now, their last 10 for each team. The Hurricanes going in split 50-50 here with a 5-5 record in their last 10 games, and they're 5-3 for this month. So this month's been pretty similar, not really winning or losing, kind of just in mid zone right now. The Islanders, a team that was fighting for their lives to stay in the playoff race. They just made it, and they are in their last 10 games. They're 5-4-1, so right there, just a little bit above 500 there. And they are 3-3 this month, with actually the Hurricanes beating the Islanders just a week ago, I believe on the 3rd, on last Monday, I think. I'm not entirely sure, though. But anyways, so this month's been both teams kind of stagnant right now. Like, not really doing too good, but not doing too bad. But the one thing that you can give the Hurricanes above them is that they just beat them recently. Only 2-1, though, so not that big of a blowout. Now, these two teams, very similar. Goals for 262 goals for the Hurricanes, which in my eyes was surprising. Like, I'm usually like up to date looking at the stats, but I guess I never paid attention that the Hurricanes, I thought they were going to be more of an offensively producing team, but no, 15th in the NHL, right there in the mid zone. And Islanders, I did see this coming, though, 22nd in the NHL with 242. So not that good, which I expect from the Islanders. They are in a defensive team that play hard hockey games to win. They win the 2-1 game, right? And the Hurricanes, apparently, same story. Goals against for the Hurricanes. They are second best in the NHL with only 210. The Islanders right up there, too, with only 217, 7 more goals scored against them this year in 6th place. So they're very similar in those two categories. I'm sure 22nd to 15th, that's a 7th-place drop. That is a big hit. But overall, 242 to 262, that is a 20-goal difference. That is kind of a big margin there, but both kind of in the mid to lower half of the league. So neither team really being that impressive in the category. But goals against, both teams very impressive up there, especially the Hurricanes in 2nd place, behind the Bruins, which beat them by a whole 40 goals, which is absolutely nuts. But anyways, so two teams pretty similar there. Now, one thing I wanted to point out is in my head, in my mind, I've always thought the Islanders, they are, and if you've watched any of my videos when I speak about the Islanders, is that they are a playoffs built team. They are not they play the regular season hoping to just scrape by and get into the playoffs, because when they're in the playoffs, they are wild. And the Hurricanes, they're built for season hockey and playing in the playoffs. That is where I'm a bit shaky on them, and that's kind of my biggest question, but we'll get there later. But one interesting stat that I wanted to think of is, these two teams, my vision for the Islanders winning these games is that they take a lot of shots against and they look for their retaliation. They look for that interception to feed the puck to Barzal. He makes a big move and scores a goal. Or he gets it, sends it over to Brock Nelson. He lasers it past a goaltender, right? That's what I would kind of figure is their strategy. And it kind of is. And the Hurricanes, in my eyes, they're so well-rounded as a team that I would figure that that their strategy to win is a lot of just keep containment of the puck, keep shooting and score. And I'm kind of right. So with shots per game, shots like average per game for the Hurricanes, they have 34.8 shots per game during the 82-game season. That makes them third in the NHL. I have no clue who's above them. And they are also the number one team, best team, with the lowest amount of shots against them in the entire NHL per game, with only 26 per game. That was a crazy stat for me to find out. I did not see that coming, that they were going to be the number one least shot on team. But it makes sense. It's, as I said, they are a team that kind of plays like the Avalanche in the playoffs last year. If you watched them then, that they thrive in keeping the puck and keep the puck in the other team's zone, shoot, find the goals, and get it done. And then the puck goes the other way down the ice. We got some good defenders and a good goalie in net. Whether it's one of our three guys that we have, any of them, we got a good goalie who's going to keep it out of the net. And it makes sense. That's what you would kind of think. I just figured they would have scored more goals than being in 15th place. But with the Islanders' hand, shots for per game averaged is 30.8, which, yes, I know is only a 4-shot differential, but that does place them from the Hurricanes 4 shots more in third place to being in 19th in the NHL. Not good at all there. Not good at all. 19th in the NHL for that. Shots against, though, also, like I said, it makes sense. They've 31 shots against per game. The average bases them in 15th place. So it kind of makes sense. As I said, I figure the Islanders, they take a lot of load of shots. They play good defense, so the shots aren't really that dangerous. And then they go back down the other ice, and they find those once-in-a-while good chances to shoot on net. That places them in 19th in shots against. Also, special teams, power play, Hurricanes, not very good. 20th in the NHL, 19.8, which, I guess is almost 20%. So 20% of the time scoring, not too bad. The Islanders, also not good. 30th. They are the lowest playoff team when it comes to power play. And I watched their game the other night when they went on a power play against the Minnesota Wild, who I believe they are the lowest of the playoff teams with the worst penalty kill percentage. And let me tell you, that was a terrible show. That was awful. The Islanders against the worst playoff team's penalty kill, the worst penalty kill by a playoff team, they looked abysmal. They could not get anything going. And it makes sense. They are the lowest 15.8%, 30th in the NHL in power play. Makes sense. But they are 9th in the NHL when it comes to penalty kill. Excuse me, 82.4% on the penalty kills. Not so pretty good there. The problem is the Hurricanes match them even better once again with 84.4, which, yes, is only a 2-point differential. But, tell me if there's a big difference there. If I told you that you would win more money 2% more of the time, that would make more sense. But anyways, so yeah, on paper, the numbers all look way more in favor for the Hurricanes, right? One thing that the Islanders do have is a guy who scored more points to them. So their top guys, who leads these teams? The Hurricanes, Martin Necas, a guy not talked about enough. I've thought for years that this guy's going to be a jump-out star. Here he is, but doesn't get all the recognition he deserves. Svechnikov scored he scored 2 lacrosse goals, and now he's like a superstar there. Aho is the talked-about guy, of course, he is a superstar. And Martin Necas just gets pushed to the side. I feel bad for the guy. Leading the team with 71 points, 28 goals, 43 assists. This guy's all around just a great Czechoslovakian. Just a great Czech player. Sebastian Aho, the Finnish stud, 36 goals this year, 31 points, 67 points on the season. Looking great. Sebastian Aho, he's a superstar, all around great. Just a great centerman. And Brent Burns on the team with 61 points, 18 goals, 43 assists. Not a surprise to me. As I thought, this guy got 50 points with the San Jose Sharks last year. He goes to the Carolina Hurricanes. He's still great. He's still fantastic. People talk all trash about him. Riddle me this. How do you say a defenseman's terrible when he's on a team that is abysmal, but he still gets 50 points? Just because Drew Doughty says something, somehow the guy's a terrible player. People are so stupid sometimes. But anyways, Brent Burns showing just how good he is at being offensive and producing, which is the reason why the Islanders are successful. Is that they're the reason why I like the Colorado Avalanche last season in the playoffs. Is that their guys back there, Burns, Shea, Slavin, Pesce, they can get the puck and they will move it out of the zone. They will gain the puck, get it out. They will contain the puck in the other team's zone. They will get shot after shot after shot, and that's what makes them so dangerous as a team. And Brent Burns, 18 goals, phenomenal. On the other side, the Islanders, they have the guy with the most points in the season on their team with Brock Nelson, 36 goals, matching Sebastian Aho, and 39 assists, gets him 75 points, leading this team. Brock Nelson, guys like 29, but he looks 97. Fantastic hockey player. These are the type of guys that play in the playoffs, and that's the deal with the Islanders. Nelson, Anders Lee, these are the Pollock and Pollock. These are the guys that win Stanley Cups, and they get so close every time that they're in the playoffs. It's just they need that one twinkle of hope, and I'm going to talk more about that in a second. Matt Barzal, only playing 58 games this year, 14 goals, 37 assists, 51 points, and this is where I get things scary for the Islanders in the season, is that their guys don't produce a lot of points. They play a lot of good defense, a lot of good defense, which I think goes underappreciated by hockey fans a lot. But what they do, what they lack in offense, they gain in playing just such good defense. They contain the puck. They keep the other team from getting good chances to score. And that's what gets them to 6th in the NHL in goals against, is that they eliminate those chances. Problem is that they're not very good offensively. Guys like Barzal, he beat Connor McDavid in the All-Star thing a few years ago with the fastest skater. We know how potent this guy can be, but only 14 goals is not good. That is not good enough for your second guy on the team. Anders Lee, 28 goals, 22 assists, 50 points. Great player, great captain, but once again, 50 points is your third best on the team. I just feel like that's unacceptable. But that is why, but it plays into the reason why this team is so good in the playoffs. They're guys, they're not flashy, but they get the job done. They play good hockey, and that's what makes them good. And I know that might just sound really stupid and generic, but from my vision of being the lowest rankings of hockey player you can imagine, that, okay, maybe not that low, but playing hockey on the ice, when I see what these guys do, they're so good at, I appreciate the details that they play, how good defensively they are, and they get the job done in the playoffs. It's the season where things are scary for them. So in the playoffs, sure, these numbers look scary going into it, but they're so dominant in the playoffs because they play such good overall hockey. And I'm going too long about that. But in that is where the Islanders have their biggest hope. Anderson for the Hurricanes, definitely a good goaltender, but he only played 34 games this year. And with those 34 games, he has a .903 save percentage and a .248 goals against average. I mean, not bad numbers, but definitely not superstarish numbers like Ilya Sorokin, playing 62 games this season for the Islanders. I hear a lot of people talk about it, but if there is an MVP, like a true MVP goaltender for a reason a team wins, this guy's got to be up there. This guy is a main reason that the Islanders are even close to making it into the play. They didn't make it the playoffs, but why they're close to making it is a guy like Sorokin, a .924 save percentage, incredible, 62 games, 924. That's better than Anderson, who played half of those games, well, a little bit more than half of those games. A 2.34 goals against average, 62 games, only getting scored on 2 goals usually a night is insane. And one thing I want to know is that, and the numbers are too big to write on the board, but he played, so the 62 to 34 games played, right? Sorokin is in the 3,000s, like 900 minutes of playing. 3,900 minutes or plus, whatever, right? Anderson's only in the thousands. Saves, shots against Sorokin is at like 1,899 or something. Anderson is only at 899 or something around that range. So Sorokin's made more saves than Anderson has had shots against. So we want to talk about the guy that's hardened and in the zone and focused. Sorokin is all that, and that is what the Islanders' biggest benefit going into this playoffs is Sorokin and net. Now, the thing about the Hurricanes, of course, is Anderson. He gets injured a lot. If he gets injured, I actually kind of would like to see Kochetkov in net instead. I kind of like him more than Anderson, but they're going to roll with Anderson and Raanta, so it is what it is. But my biggest questions going forward for these two teams, for the Hurricanes, regular season stats going into it are all better. Everything you could say is better in the Hurricanes' favor. But the question is, does it translate? Does it move on to the playoffs? Do the guys like Aho, like Necas, get those goals? Does Burns get those goals? I mean, the playoffs last year, they didn't look like idiots, but what the hell was the deal with only winning home games? It didn't make any sense. It's just stupid. I mean, what the hell's wrong with you? So, I don't know if it was just the teams they were playing against in Boston and in New York, and maybe it's like the crowd. But whatever it is, they need to shake that off, especially going up against the home team that's so rowdy as the New York Islanders. They got to shake that off. They cannot let that just be like a usual thing, and I don't think it will be. But whatever the hell that was all about, get rid of that and play your game the way that you know you can. Overall, they're the more skilled team. They're every position you want to point at. You go, I mean, I know Nelson has more points than a guy like Necas, but if you want to go like 1-for-1, I would personally rather have Necas on my team than Brock Nelson. Matt Barzal, I think he's got a high potential, but he never gets there, and I think Sebastian Aho's better than him. Burns over Pulock and Pollock. I mean, sure, maybe defensively those guys are more useful, but Burns, the game that they play better. I mean, look at how much higher in the standings the Hurricanes are than the New York Islanders. So I give them the edge there, except everywhere except in net. And the Islanders, they're built for the playoffs, right? They're always going deep in. Last year they missed the playoffs, but the last 2 years they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals, losing to the Tampa Bay Lightning. And those games would go to Game 7, and they would just lose because Vasilevsky's a freaking nutcase that can stop everything when it really matters. So the unfortunate there, but they always go deep, and it's the same team. Now they add Horvat, and the one thing about this team is they need more offense. So my biggest thing for the Islanders to win, and what I miss from them in those playoff series, their deep runs, is that they never have a superstar. John Tavares that one season, right, when he scored that big goal. They need a guy like that. They're missing that one twinkle of hope. A guy like Johnny Hockey would have been fantastic for them this offseason, is a guy who's going to give them that chance. They go down the ice, and Matt Barzal should be that guy, and that would be my pick. Go out there and tell him, hey, Matt, I know you are a freaking fast player, and I know you got hands. Go out there, rush down the ice. Everyone else is tired. I'm going to bench you for like 5 minutes. Sit here, relax, get a breath in, okay? And then I'm going to send you out there. You're going to be ready. You're going to be gassed. They're going to be tired, and you're going to rush down the ice. They need to do more of that. They need guys like Barzal to step up and guys like maybe Horvat to step up and be that offensive glimmer of hope, because they need that. If there was a team that needed to get a guy like Tarasenko or a guy like Patrick Kane or a guy like maybe Meyer, but he's not really working out that well, this was the team to do it, and they did nothing, which is another reason why my pick for this matchup is the Hurricanes. And I think the Islanders have a lot going for them, but I think their weaknesses of a real superstar guy who's going to get a lot of points for them against a team that beats them in even defensive categories is going to be their killer threat, is that they have nothing to match them offensively. Because defensively, you could say they cancel each other out, but offensively, one team's definitely got the advantage, and they're going to squeak a little bit more goals through the defense of the Islanders and win the series. So that is all I have to say. Islanders I think it's going to go far. I don't think this will be a short series, so 6 or 7 is my pick. So 6 or 7 for the Hurricanes, and that is all I have to say. So thank you for watching this. If you've made it all the way to this point, you may as well pick up your free subscription down below. But also, I'm begging you, please do it. I've been doing so good. And until next time, thank you for watching this. Too sweet. Have an amazing day. And ta-ta for now.